this wasn't an attempt to portray the story of a hero, a saint, a guy that has nothing to do with us, that has special powers or anything. This is just a man that had a conviction. I wanted to do a film that wouldn't feel like a history lesson, you know. I think film, it's not there to inform. First of all, it's there to entertain us.
Mexico and California being back and forth always, and we were looking for a story that would have an appeal and that would matter in both sides of the border, and we thought this was perfect, you know. This was my goal, you know, to be able to tell the stories I want to tell and raise awareness on topics that matter to me. And I decided to start directing like 7-8 years ago, and this is the third film I do, and this has been the toughest one, you know. It's been 4 years of my life, and it was quite a struggle to put this together, but finally we're here celebrating not just the film, but the legacy of this amazing man.
The film is an incredibly important one for many reasons. I grew up knowing Cesar Chavez and knowing of Cesar Chavez and knowing of the movement, and just assumed that everyone in America was taught that Cesar Chavez was an American hero and an American icon, and that isn't the case. There are a lot of people who don't know his name, or if they do know his name, they don't really know what his legacy was.
I think that I grew up in California, and out there everybody knows Cesar Chavez and the story, and he was such an important part of the labor movement. And whereas in the East, I feel like his story hasn't been as much.
I'm really excited that we have the opportunity to tell this story to everyone, let alone the honor that it is to be able to bring it here, especially to this conversation right now that's so critical. You know, 20% of people are covered in the union and farm workers. That's still 80% of people who don't have access to that, and they say 70 to 80% of them are undocumented.
I think we've taken way too long to embrace the diversity in this country through humane immigration laws. And it's not just those at the top who create innovative business who should be welcomed here, but it's those at the bottom who have provided so much of the labor that has made us a great country, and they have to be embraced too.
Well, I don't think that what Cesar Chavez ever believed was that he was going to change anything once and for all. I think what he believed was that each generation is the custodian of the world that they live in, and it takes leaders every generation to stand up and say, you know, this is the world we want to live in, and we're going to protect our rights and never rest on our laurels and just assume that these rights are going to exist.
I mean, you know, we're shooting and filming in 117-degree weather, and we're thinking to ourselves like, okay, we understand this intellectually, but there's a whole other thing when you're actually physically experiencing something and going, wow, let me try to magnify this by 1,000 gazillion. Like, you're going every single day in the summer, you know, not having a day off of work, not having access to bathrooms, not having access to fresh, clean drinking water or shade, you know, not getting paid what you should be getting paid just to be out there to make sure that the food that you're providing for other people, you can provide for your own children.
Because I acted in so many films that I helped so many to tell their own story, that one day I realized I wanted to tell mine, you know, and I wanted to be in the other side and be part of the process since it's an idea, you know, and be in film for the whole journey, you know.
What made Chavez so successful was how personal the fight was to him and how local he began. He got in the fields and spoke to the farm workers, and it wasn't about starting a national movement, it was about educating one farm worker at a time.
And the benefit of someone like Cesar Chavez and Dolores Huerta and all of the work that they've done and continue to do is that we do talk about fair wages, that we do talk about fair trade, that we are having conversations about food justice and economic justice in a way that we never did before generationally. And I think that's an amazing thing, that we can present a film that can make people think about that, because every single one of us eats. So every single one of us is a part of this conversation.